Okay, here's a question I get fairly often is how to evaluate surplus. So I'm always going on and on about the value of a an Alice rucksack, especially when it's modified. And then the question I always get is, "Hey, that's great, but I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know how to inspect stuff. I don't know if I'm buying good stuff or bad stuff." And some of this, admittedly, is you got to have a little bit of experience. You got to kind of know what you're looking for. But let me show you what I look for when I'm looking at surplus and how I decide if I'm going to get something or not. So the first thing I look for is just sort of the overall condition of the bag. So here's a large Alice rucksack. You can tell it's a large because it has the three ammo pouches here, and it's much bigger than a medium, which you can get fairly cheap. And I just look at it sort of overall. So I check the fabric is at the right denier, which is the right weight of fabric. I'm looking for the straps themselves, and I'm looking for the marking. So there's always the big U.S. marking on the flap. You can kind of see that there. Although oftentimes this is washed out. I'll show you when it's washed out a little bit. And then on the back side, on the bottom down here, is where it'll say field pack large, nylon large, and it's just there's a couple different manufacturers. It doesn't really matter which nomenclature you get. There's a couple of NSN national stock numbers here that that'll differentiate the different ones. They actually make a standard issue black one for some reason, but there's a couple different versions of them. I'm just looking for overall general those markings and the overall general fabric. So the first thing I'm looking for is sort of holes and tears. If there's any big rips, so a couple of big places to look for rips. So first off, look at the bottom of the pack. If any of these seams here are blown out, because that's where all the weight is. That's what when you're stuffing this thing. That's where all that pressure goes. Make sure that this stitching on this strap is intact, double bar tacked, and that's what keeps the bottom from blowing out. Look at all the pockets. So these pockets here, there's three small bottom pockets, and just make sure that they're not totally blown out. And then look for the flaps to those pockets. Make sure they're not blown out. There's a pass through here on the two outside pockets. The middle pocket doesn't have that pass through. Make sure that the flaps are secured, not blown out. Make certain that all of the attachment points are double bar tacked and not blown out. And then make certain that the flap, this is called the map pocket, the map flap. Make certain that it's not detaching up here at the top. And then most of that stuff is fairly fixable, even if it's starting to come undone. You can do that by hand. You can do that with even just a kind of a standard heavy duty machine. You don't need a commercial quality one. I've got just a standard Singer heavy duty that I use. And then the two most important spots are right here. So this is called the frame pocket. This is where the frame slides in to attach to the ruck. And oftentimes up here, like you can see on this one, see how this is frayed and blown out a little bit right here. The bag hasn't come unstitched. Just this bit of nylon has come unstitched. That's very fixable. The fraying is not extensive. It's only about a quarter inch, and the rest of this is intact. So a skilled sewer can put that together. You could do that on your own. I got a guy that does it for me. He uses a really high quality material with an industrial machine, and he'll stitch that up for me. And then look on the other side. So this is what an intact side looks like. Check inside and out. You can see that's totally intact, top and bottom. And this one's just a little bit blown out, so we're going to get that repaired. And then the other thing to look for is this bottom strap right here. So this strap, this is this and these two buckles, a buckle here and a buckle here. This is what attaches to the bottom of the frame. So the frame slides in. Here's what a frame looks like. Here's a standard from LC1 frame. Frame slides into the frame pocket as such. So you can see where that's going to be problematic if that's blown out. And then it attaches to the frame down here on the through these buckles. So these are all pretty intact, and even if these are a little bit frayed on the end, no big deal. You don't need the full length. You can cut that and burn that. I have a hot knife that I use, commercial hot knife for all my webbing. And then look at the general shape of all the metal on it. So there's a couple spots of metal. So all of these grommets here are brass, so they're unlikely to get too bad. Although we'll see these get greened out a little bit. especially if it's been exposed to seawater, which could be problematic, not necessarily. And then look at these buckles down here. So look at this one. This one's fairly intense. It's got a very light touch of surface rust, a little bit of discoloration. You could take that down with some steel wool, no big deal. And you can just touch that up with some paint, and it'd be just fine. This one's a little bit more corroded, but not too bad. These right here, these two straps here, these are the total tie down straps. These can be a little bit more problematic. For some reason, they just tend to, I don't know, maybe it's because they see more wear. But you can see this one's got a good bit of surface rust on it. And but what we're going to do is we're going to have this modified, and then the snaps as well. See, make sure the snaps are in good work. You're going to see a little bit of corrosion in that one, not much in that one. This one's been closed up, trapped some moisture in there. We're going to get this one modified and take care of. We're going to get rid of most of that metal anyway, so that's not a huge deal for us. And then the last thing I look for is the smell. If you can, when you smell surplus that's been poorly stored, it's been sitting in moisture, high humidity areas, it has that really musty smell to it. Not always a bad thing. You can get that smell out with a good enzyme cleaner, and we'll go through what I use to repair and clean my stuff. But this one's got a good, decent smell. It just smells like nylon. And again, that's kind of one of those things that that you just kind of get with experience. And so you just got to spend some time, in the back of a surplus shop, sniffing all the surplus there to sort of figure out what smells good and what doesn't. And you can definitely tell when stuff's been sort of sitting out and rotting a little bit. And here's a little inside tip for you. So I'm going to show you how we're going to get this ruck modified. We're going to get some special pouches put on it, have these straps with some Fastex buckles put on them. But when you get your ruck done, if you're going to do this, you're going to get it modified. Don't see if your sewer will leave these attachment points on. These are the original Alice attaching points where you put an E-tool or a 2-quart canteen or something. Have those left on there when you have a pocket put over that, because then they make really good tie down points. You can secure sensitive items or high value items. You can lash them down in these attachment points. So recommend leaving those on there. So this one's in pretty good condition. I think I paid $100 for this, including the frame and all the straps, and it's in great shape. We'll have a little bit of repairs to do on this, and I'll get it modified, and I'll show you what those differences are. So we'll put that in the back burner. Let me show you what a less good ruck looks like, although it's got some unique features to it. So here's another LC one. You can barely see it's washed out here on the flap. It's got a couple of cat eyes here. The name tape was sewn on there. On the back, you can barely see the original markings, field pack, large nylon. And this one's got a little bit more wear and tear too. You can see where there was probably a radio inside it. Inside of this is the radio pouch. Some holes here. So you see it's got the holes inside the pouch. A little bit of wear and tear there on the bottom of the ruck, a couple of small tears. It's not blown out. The main stitching is pretty good. And this strap is pretty good, and so are these buckles. These buckles are actually in really good condition, considering how well used the ruck is. And then up here at the top, you can see this side's not blown out, so that one's pretty good. Although the stitching's coming undone a little bit, we'll have that reinforced. This one's stitching's coming undone just a little bit. Again, we'll have that reinforced. That's very easy to repair. Any good sew shop can do that for you. But then this one came already pre-modified, so this one has all of the modifications that we're going to get done to that really one that's in good shape. It has the Fastex buckles on it, as you can see here, so you can quickly access the main part of the ruck. It's got them on the pouches. They've taped the snaps. We're going to have that all removed and just have these straight sewn on. No need to have that done, to have those on there. It's just another fail point. And this one also has a couple of big pouches on it. So this, over the 3 magazines right here, you can see it has what we call the Claymore pouch. Big sort of, I don't know, it's that 6x12 pouch that goes over that. These magazine pouches are notorious for shit falling out of them. So they're virtually useless. I've never seen anybody actually carry magazines in them. They're good for stowing all your small field gear, but stuff's always falling out. So everyone always puts a Claymore pouch over that. And you can see this Claymore pouch has got a couple holes in it, just from some wear and tear. But attachment to the bag is pretty good. It's got a couple of small pouches over here, sewn onto the side. and then it has a small pouch on, or a medium pouch on this side on the bottom, and another medium pouch over on this side on the bottom. I prefer a long pouch because it gives you the option of running your bladder on the outside, and then you see they have the attachment points, and this is good because if you put something sensitive in there, an antenna system or something, your nods, it can be secured in there. And then you can sort of see on the top here this flap that is normally, it's a flat flap. It's called, people call it the map flap. It's got a little Velcro opening here. This one's been modified. It has a zipper added to it, and then it's been expanded. See, about 3 inches have been added to it. So this gives you a significant amount of additional cargo space up top here. It's a great place to store snivel, stuff that you're going to have access to quickly, doffing and donning snivel throughout the day. Even a lightweight sleep system like your Whoopee is perfect to go up in there. And then it's in pretty good shape. The radio pouch is intact. It's got the original drawstring. And then on the inside, just looking at the stitching, it's in pretty good shape. There is a little bit of discoloration here, so you'll notice this one's got sort of bleached out a little bit. It's been probably sitting in the sun for a good while, and that's no big deal. On almost all of my my green nylon, I'll end up painting this anyways, dusting this with some spray paint to sort of put a camouflage coat on that, and you'll see what that looks like here when we're done. So these are both pretty good. I think I paid for this one, I think I paid $150. I think the other one was $100 frame and straps, and this one was $150 frame and straps. That's going to need a little bit of repair, but each of these pouches costs you money to have done. A small pouch, this is like $35. This is probably $20 to $25. Claymore pouch, $25. This top flax probably $35, something like that to have done. So you got $100+ on here, and I only paid $50 more for it. I'm going to have it repaired a little bit more, but well worth it. This thing will be worth, when it's done, upwards of just the bag itself $300. So I got it for $150. I'll put $50 additional into it, so $200. So it's in great shape otherwise, and I know that because I learned how to inspect it for all those things, and it smells decent. It doesn't smell too janky. I will wash them. I'll wash them both in an enzyme wash just to clean them out, and then hang them out and sun dry them, and they'll be good to go. And they both came with a frame. This is what a standard frame looks like. This is an LC1 frame. This one's painted black, but it's just like every other frame. Couple key things to look for when you're looking at frames is make sure they're not too bent. This one's got a little bit of a curve to it, but they're just lightweight aluminum. You can get this over a hard surface and bend it back into shape pretty easily, no troubles. You're looking for the rivets, though, the rivet spots, where the stays, the frame stays are riveted to the frame itself, and then where the shelf, the hip shelf is riveted as well. If you are even remotely skilled with some hand tools, you can go to Harbor Freight and get a rivet gun for like $10. You can all these pop rivets. A lot of places around here. So I'm at Fort Bragg, and a lot of surplus shops around here will have a stack of these things that they're usually, a lot of places will just give them away to you if they're broken. They don't want to deal with them. They just got them stacked up. Some places will sell them to you for like $5 if it's just got 1 or 2 rivets on it. You can drill those out really easily. Just pull them out with a punch, and then with a rivet gun you can pop a rivet in there and it's good just as new. This one's going to just take a little bit of cleaning and painting. It's otherwise in good shape. And here's one that I got for free. So same frame, and I got this for free because this top rivet was blown out, and so I just popped out the dead rivet, put a new rivet in, and then hit it with a couple coats of spray paint, and it's good as new. So this was free, and you can get these things all day long around any military installation. I think for a perfect frame, you might pay $20 maybe. Most places will sell them as a whole kit. This one came, I bought a couple of rocks and I threw this one in for free, and I got a couple other ones for free. So I will turn this sort of a little bit mangled up frame, I'll bend it back into shape, and I'll turn it into this, which is a perfectly good frame, and I'll throw this one inside of one of these rucks once we get them done. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm inspecting gear. Looking for the markings, looking for any significant holes and tears, looking for the attachment points where it attaches to the frame itself. I'm looking at the metal snaps and metal hardware if it's not too corroded. And then I'm checking for the smell, make sure that it doesn't smell like it's been sitting in some guy's danky basement. And that's it. That's how you evaluate surplus. Okay, so we're back. We got our couple bags here back from the sew shop. I want to show you guys how that works. So remember when we sent them in, we had some repairs to make. So what they do is they just put a patch on it. That patch is on the inside, and then it uses this heavy duty stitching to clean all that up. That just cost a couple of bucks. Did it on all the little holes all over. Now this bag is essentially good as new. Had the Fast Tech buckles put on, and had these tie down straps done as well. And just clean this bag up a little bit. This one already had the pouches on it, so it was in pretty good condition to begin with. Not too much damage here on the frame pocket, and it's ready to go now. It's good to go. You could put this on a frame, and this thing would last for years. We're going to clean it up a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit more work on it. We're going to paint these bags so we get uniform color, because I like that look, and then we'll mount it to a frame. So that's the next step for this one. And this one had a little bit more extensive work done on. You can see here. So we had the straps done. You can see if you look here closely at the stitching here. This is bar tack stitching, and then these. Every time they change the angle on the stitch like this, and they go back and forth, that reinforces it, makes it even stronger. This thing is incredibly strong. This will never rip off. This bag will rip before the strap does, which is good because you'll be humping some weight on top of this thing. And then we had that same thing done to all the pouches. Had the snaps replaced with these Fast Tech buckles. So you see the difference here. On this one, we left the snaps on, but had the Fast Tech buckles replaced. So the snaps are still there, that we just tape them up and don't use them. Costs a little bit more to have it done this way, but I think it works better. And then we have the elastic bands for all the extra. And again, you see the double bar tack stitching there. So the other pouches we had done on this, so we had these long pouches on the side. These are great because you can fit camelback bladders in them. And you don't have to dig through your ruck, and if they burst, they're just inside your ruck, or they're on the outside of the ruck, so no big deal. But look at the stitching. It's double stitched with this heavy duty nylon thread, really heavy duty YKK zippers on the outside here. Just phenomenal work. We also had some top pouches done. We had these two small pouches, and this is called the Claymore pouch, and that covers the 3 magazine pouches. So all of that work was done. I think these are about $25 each, $35, maybe $35 for these pouches. And he also put on the storm flap. This is called the storm flap up top. Cinch it down. It helps you keep all that extra junk inside inside the ruck when you get it. So all told, all that work I think was about $130. I think we paid $100 for the ruck, 130, so we're at $230, and this thing is absolutely bomb-proof. Now, if you see, this is heavy duty. This is 500 denier Cordura, and it's really, really heavy duty. It's about twice as heavy duty as the original, which is great because it's just going to last forever. And these outside pouches are the ones that take the beating, because when you're walking through the woods and scruffing up against stuff, these are the ones that take a beating. So they're in really good shape now. This ruck, again, all told about 230, maybe $250. Throw it on a frame and get a frame for. Oh, and he also did a handle here as well, handle directly on the bag, and you'll see the stitching there. It's a bar tack back and forth. Really, really solid work. And I don't worry about the color change in these because I'm going to paint this whole thing anyways. I always like to paint my old Alice's. And get a good even color, and then camouflage them a little bit as well. So we'll do that next. Okay, so here are the rucks prepped for paint. I just mounted them to a frame. fill them with a just the main compartment has an exercise ball in there, just a rubber exercise ball. Doesn't weigh anything, just the flavor there. And then in the outside pockets, I just stuffed craft paper. You can see that there. So just give them a little bit of shape so you can get good paint coverage on them. And there's that one all ready for paint. And then this one as well, did the same thing, just craft paper on the side. So you can see the difference in the two modifications here. On this one, you've got the full size outside pouch, and on this one you have a sort of a 3/4 size. It leaves this part exposed. This is nice because if you want to carry something additional, like you want to mount a 2-quart canteen on there, or maybe an e-tool or some other specialized equipment, you still got that spot to do that. And that's on both sides of this one. So it has a 3/4. And of course, the large one has them on both sides. And you can see the difference here. See the colorway difference. You've got the darker green. That's the newer of the 500 denier. Really, really thick, heavy-duty stuff. And then the other material. They'll function the same. This will be a little bit more durable. And there's some other minor differences as well. You see this one has zippers, but they're only on one side. The zipper only goes one way. And on the new one, it's got two-way zippers, so you can customize that as much as you like. And a little pro tip for you, as you're prepping your rucks for paint, just mount them on the frame. You don't have to put the straps on. Probably don't want to paint those. And stuff all the pockets, and then take a little bit of lube cleaner or a zipper cleaner and lubricant, and hit all your zippers on that. That'll keep the paint from sticking to the zippers and gumming them up. But here they are all prepped for paint. No straps on them, just the rucks themselves filled with a exercise ball and a little bit of craft paper. Just save that from your Amazon packaging and fill the pockets with it, and you're ready for paint. Okay, so this is just the first coat. You can see, do a light coat, kind of get it all evened out. Sounds real bad here, sorry about that. Just gives you an idea kind of what the color is going to look like. That's a good bit. Remember, those are all different colored panels, and now they're all uniform. Super easy to do. Okay, so here it is, post paint. There it is. You can see all kind of monochromed, and then you put the highlights and the lowlights on it. So what I did is just do it just like you do camouflage face paint. You put light on the undersides and dark on the top sides, and that's kind of what it comes out as, kind of mottled. And there's some. If you look here, there's some, like you do some sort of patterns on the side here with the striping, and but not too much. You don't want it to be any sort of affectation on it. But that's what it looks like when it's all done. And this it's not meant to be a perfect camouflage pattern, because that's not natural. And this will, as this wears, as the paint scuffs off, it'll get even better. The camouflage will become even more natural. And then that's what the original one looks like. So we're gonna paint this one next, and see if we can get it to come out looking like this one. So you just put it on the frame, hang it up, and get to painting. That's it.